So here's my 7-point bidding system and framework that helps you to win more contracts consistently, y'all, and repeatedly. Are you guys ready to level up in 2025? This is it. We're going to be giving it all away, so make sure that you stay tuned. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Kawana D. Irving, your government contracts expert, and I help six-figure entrepreneurs actually scale to multiple six and even seven figures and beyond with government contracts. But of course, you cannot win contracts without understanding how to bid. And that is one of the biggest hiccups that I see most entrepreneurs struggle with. And, they don't really take the time to really learn how this stuff works. There are so many different moving parts to successfully pitching and winning government contracts and really growing and scaling sustainably and consistently without having to, stop and start. There's a process to these things. And so for those of you who are joining today, definitely, keep watching, because in this video, you're going to learn my 7-point system to bidding successfully that you can put on rinse and repeat law and start landing those contracts throughout the year. And of course, it's definitely going to be work, but work that is much worth it, especially if you're looking to have sustainable wealth in 2025 and beyond, right? So the first things first, of course, if you are in your government contracting journey, many times, people have cage codes, they're registered as SAM, they have a capability statement, they have all of their certifications, but when you ask them, do you have contracts? 90% out of 100% of the time we hear no. And the reason why is because there are so many different moving parts to pitching and winning government contracts that most people just don't really take the time to learn. I saw a video earlier today where there was a concept of a person. He was talking about how people they resist when it comes to, taking time. They don't want to commit, 2 to 4 years of really growing and learning, how to grow a profitable business that is successful and that is sustainable and that, that generates, 7 and 8 figures and beyond. But yet they are so willing to work 40 years, to give 40 years of their time for a traditional JOB. 4 years versus 40. It's just the craziest thing, that we hear, and see in the marketplace, especially for entrepreneurs. And so for those of you who are here because you want to create wealth for yourself and you've already started the process of doing this, government contracting thing, and you just don't know what to do, no worries. I'm going to give you my entire 7-step process, system, and framework that I use to win millions of dollars in government contracts, that I have used with clients who have paid me tens of thousands of dollars to learn this framework to help themselves generate multiple 6 figures, multiple 7 figures in their business. Are you ready for it? Right? So let's dive into it. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to break it down. So are you ready to get it broken down? And so, but just know, before I even get into those numbers, y'all, it takes work. It takes work. Success requires hard work. Now, if you're already working hard to be where you are you ready to switch and work hard to be where you want to be? And if your answer is yes, I have the perfect solution for you. But even with this, just know that this is just going to be one piece of an entire strategy, very complex system. So there's so much more to learn. Now, you can just take this one piece and start winning contracts, but there's missing parts and other parts that go along with the government contracting journey and the business model, of course, that will help you have long-term wealth, right? Long-term wealth. And I require, I basically recommend that you have, a whole class or training on exactly how to really continue to build wealth on purpose with government contracts. So we're going to dive into it. So welcome in as you're coming in. Be sure to drop in the chat, email us, let us know, where are you in your government contracting journey? What is the number one biggest hurdle that's holding you back from securing your first or second contract? And I am very aware that sometimes people accidentally land contracts. They don't know how they did it, but you have to know the strategy so that you can continue to do this more. Sometimes people land their first contract as a sub, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to take control of your wealth, take control of prosperity, take control of your business, you definitely want to have a system dialed in that you can use. And right now, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how we help people win more contracts. Are you ready? Type ready in the chat. Let us know that you're ready. So I'm going to actually share my screen here. If I can bring it up. So share my screen, and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break down not only the 7 steps, but I'm going to talk about each step along the way as we progress through this framework. And so number 1 in this particular process, there are so many people. First, you really got to understand that there are 3 levels of government. Every single level, local, state, and federal, they have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, and sometimes even billions of dollars across all levels, specifically strategically set aside for those companies that have under 500 employees. That is how they define a small business, by the way. And so this is for those who are like, you're maybe stuck at 6 figures on the low end, 100,000, 150,000, maybe even 200,000, and you're ready to 10x to have a 7-figure business, a 1 million, 2 million, 1.5 million and beyond, up to 10 million and beyond, right? And leveraging your knowledge and expertise in the government contracting space. Or maybe you lack the knowledge and expertise and you just need a little bit of help and a little bit of guide, right? Take the time to learn, because learning is only going to be half the battle. Once you know how to do this, then guess what? It's going to require you to execute on the information so that you can actually get the results. And so first things first, several people, don't kind of know where to get started. There's local, state, federal, there's sam.gov, there's state, there's Department of Transportation, there's, city and county, all these different areas. Of course, state and city is a little bit different from federal, but most people get started on the federal because guess what? It's a little bit more streamlined, right? I always recommend that, if there's money to be had, you want to fully optimize your business, local, state, and federal. So if there's a local contract, that's in your city, your town, your county, for small businesses to set aside for women or minorities, you can participate in that, because guess what? You've already done the paperwork. You've already positioned yourself to be able to land that contract. If there's a state contract regionally, then you're ready to do that because you've already done the footwork. If nationally you want to do business across the nation, that includes all 51 states, then the federal is where to start, right? And yes, you could be in one state and do business elsewhere. I'm going to walk you through exactly how that all happens, but I'm going to use federal contracting as an example because they only have a one main portal primarily, which is kind of like a one-stop shop for all bidding and procurement opportunities. For the most part, of course, goes through sam.gov. So if you've been on sam.gov and you've been sitting there stuck for like 2-3 years, 5 years even, with UEI, capability statement, all these marketing resume, you have all these things, UEI code, cage code, all the stuff, right? Certifications, woman-owned, minority-owned, veteran-owned. You have all these things, but you do not have a contract. You have not generated income, revenues in the government contracting space. You have no network. Then guess what? This is what you're going to need: a system to pitch and win government contracts. So number 1 is identify. This is the first step to getting started with pitching and winning. Now this is beyond if you've gone through my 5-day challenge where you're getting your business pre-qualified as a government contractor, and basically you are, make sure my phone is on silent. You have your ducks in order, your I's dotted, your T's crossed, you have your paperwork, you started the process, you've gotten, certified, and all these other micro steps leading up to this, right? This is not for those who are just beginning. How do I start an LLC? Can I do this as a sole provider? This is for those who've already done that groundwork, right? And you're ready to take that next step towards getting a contract. And of course, there's going to be other steps beyond even getting a contract. You're going to want to know how to invoice, what insurances you need, how to manage a contract, how to manage your team, your reporting. This thing is an endless pool of knowledge and information and expertise, but it all starts with getting a contract. If you are stuck on getting a contract, you're going to learn my 7-point step framework and system that can easily be repeatable to land more contracts. So number one is identify opportunities, right? So identify opportunities. Where do you identify opportunities? Are you looking to start federal? Are you doing federal, state, local? Some people are unable to focus on 3 levels of government simultaneously. So you got to pick one and start there and then grow and expand into, optimizing your full business for total wealth, right? This is the total wealth optimization strategy. Like start where you are. Like if you want to start local, then figure out what do you need to do local bidding and to be a contractor for the local city and county. Do you need to register? You need to do all that footwork. And once you're in the door, then you want to do this, identify the opportunities. And well, I always say, because of course, contracting is pretty much like a 1 in 10, right? A 10% rule. When baseline, right? This is like baseline. When you're getting started, you want to go with a baseline rule. Like if you want to win one, you got to be a 10. Okay. 1 in 10. So with that said, identifying 10 opportunities at the top of the week, 10 a week. Like if you want to win, 4 to 5 contracts a month, you want to identify at least 10 a week. Guess what? So when you're identifying these opportunities, there's going to be a pipeline of different various types of opportunities. And in that particular pipeline, there are going to be maybe solicitations. There's going to be pre-solicitations. Of course, in this particular video, I'm not going to go into the definition of what these things are. There's another video on my YouTube channel that talks about what is an RFP, what is an RFI, what is a solicitation, pre-solicitation, all that stuff you'll learn. But in this particular funnel, you're going to have a mix of opportunities that you've identified, right? And depending on where you are in your journey, maybe you're looking for opportunities and you want to get ahead of the opportunities before it actually become an opportunity. Those are like pre-solicitations. Those are sources sought, right? Maybe you're in your journey like, I want to get, go the shortest route to get to the money. This is where I am in my business. I don't really have a whole lot of time to like build up just yet. I'm going to get to the build up part, but right now I just need money. I need capital. I need to win, right? And so those are going to be the more, solicitations, RFPs, RFQs, RFIs, or whatever. Not RFI, but RFQs, RFPs, and solicitations. Okay, so you have solicitations, pre-solicitations, sources sought. I'm just going to paraphrase here. So sources sought, and then you have RFP, RFP, and RFQ. And RFIs. So these are all the different types of opportunities that you can identify, right? It doesn't matter if you're filling your pipeline with all solicitations. It doesn't matter if you're filling your pipeline with all RFPs or all RFQs. Just know that there's going to be a mix. And you have to understand what goes into that. Okay. And so what's in your pipeline? The reason why you want to identify 10 is because you're going to go through like step 2, which is going to be like a checks and balances. It's called decide, right? Decide in the Latin root word decidere, to make a decision, to make a covenant, to make a decision and stick with it, right? Instead of backpedaling, right? Oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it based on this. Make a decision, right? That is one of the biggest hiccups, for small businesses to be able to even get results, is making a decision. Well, what are some of the things I need to decide? This is the green lighting process for me. It's like, out of the 10 identified, how do I bid, no bid, right? An opportunity where there are a few things that I decide, that go into that I consider reasons to bid, reasons to no bid. Because out of the 10, of course, by the time you get through this funnel, this pipeline, you're probably going to only spit out like 3 to 4 based on these parameters. Okay. So just because you see 200,000 opportunities on, sam.gov doesn't mean you're going to be bidding on 200,000 opportunities on sam.gov. Just because you identify 10 of the 200,000 doesn't mean you're going to bid on all 10. There has to be some type of filter or some type of standard that you set for yourself that kind of green lights a project or red lines a project to yes or no. Some of these things is like, nope, trash. I'm not going to go out. Not that the opportunities are trash, but you're just redlining like, I don't have time. So what are some of those checkpoints, right? So the checkpoints could be, when is it due? So the timeline, is it due tomorrow? Is it past due already? Is it due in 2 to 3 days? So timeline, a sweet spot is like, maybe 2 to 3 weeks out. 2 to 3 weeks out. I really try not to go beyond 2 to 3 weeks, right? A timeline, because anything that's like due in 5 months, 6 months, generally, there's a high probability that it may get canceled, or they may pull the budget and, redirect the budget to another opportunity that's, more pressing to them or whatever. And so 2 to 3 weeks is a sweet spot where the money is already attached, depending on the type of solicitation that you're looking at. The money is already attached. They're already serious. They're ready to go. And, they're going to move forward with this within this particular timeline. Okay. So is it due within 2 to 3 weeks? If it's like tomorrow, do you have time to respond to a whole proposal, build your team, do the pricing by tomorrow? Never put yourself in a crunch like that, because it just doesn't make any sense. It's non-productive, and you're going to find yourself failing fast and getting burnt out. So if you put yourself in a time crunch, then you will be the one to put yourself in a time crunch. It's not that this doesn't work. It's not that this is overwhelming. It's that you put yourself in a situation where now you are under pressure, right? And so this doesn't have to be something that you're stressed out about, that has to be under pressure, that you have to stay up all night scratching your head and losing sleep. Like, this could be as streamlined and as simple as you want it to be, right? So is it 2 to 3 weeks out? If yes, then you want to green light it. If it's like due less than 2 weeks, then you really want to consider, can I do this? What are the scopes? Like, what do I need to do, right? So you're like, timeline, you're looking at qualifications. Do I qualify? Qualifications. Do I qualify for this? Like, am I qualified based on the scope and the requirements, the minimum requirements? Do I meet the minimum requirements? Am I qualified to do this by myself? Do I have the capacity, right? Qualifications, capacity. Can I deliver? Is it going to be profitable? So these are all profitability, right? These are all the questions that you're asking yourself as you're reading through the solicitations. Is it a set aside? Am I certified under that set aside, right? These are the things, that's going to either green light or red line a project, right? So these are just the basic things that you have to think about. Now, when it comes to capacity, you also want to look at, I don't know what this is right here, but you also want to look at, if I don't have the capacity, can I partner with someone? So potential partnerships. Is this something that I can do by myself, or am I going to have to bring in a partner, right? So a partner. Am I have to bring in a partner that's going to help me, meet the capacity, the minimum requirements? Maybe they have the past performance. Maybe they have a bigger team than me, and together we can, deliver on time, right? And on budget. Okay. So these are the things that you have to kind of do some checks and balances, some checkpoints to go through to see, whether or not you're going to do it. So deciding yes, bid, or no, bid. Okay. So step 3 is, once you've identified, that you're going to move forward with this thing, then you want to, think about if this is something that you can't do by yourself, then you want to go into partnering, right? Who's going to be the partner? Partnership. Okay. Who's going to be the partner? Is there an incumbent? Is there someone already doing the thing that I'm doing? Is there someone in my network? Have I done some research? Have I done a Google search? Have I already vetted some people who does this particular scope of work that I'm going to partner with? All those different things, right? And so the power of partnerships, like, it can take you very far. Like, specifically, especially what I love about the federal landscape in contracting is you can be in Arizona and bid on something that's in, Wyoming. And because through your partnership, you've already identified a company there that does exactly what you do. They're going to actually do the scope and perform the scope, but this is your bid. You're the prime contractor. You're just partnering so that you can expand your reach nationally, baby. Yes. And you can do that in all 51 states on the federal level. So partnership is going to be key to taking your business from a local business to more regional, to more national. Yes, that's leveling up, a national business. Let's just imagine what that would do, for your brand to be able to speak that I have a national business, right? I do business all over the United States. I have partners in all 51 states or whatever, right? And so we're just leveling up our game. Okay. So partnerships. In the partnerships, of course, you're going to be, thinking about pricing, which is number 4, by the way. You're going to think about pricing, what is it going to take for them to, what is their price for being able to help me with this particular scope? Okay. What are they bringing to the table? You want to make sure that whoever you decide to partner with, they're bringing value to the table, whether it's they have a team, they have past performance, maybe they've already done work with government agencies before and they have that experience. Maybe they already have relationships. Maybe they have some type of technical software that if you partner with them now, you have something even more to deliver on a project that makes it more, profitable or whatever. So think about all those things when it comes to partnerships. So I'm going to go down to number 4, which is pricing. This is the next thing that you want to do. There's a vast amount of pricing strategies that are out there. You just have to know the very basic pricing strategies. There are 3 basic pricing strategies that I'm going to share with you, but there are more. This is not going to be a one pricing strategy fit all scenario. Depends on the scenario, depends on if it's profitable, depends on if it makes sense for you. Now, pricing is also going to help you understand if this opportunity is going to be profitable. Okay. So out of the pricing step, basically the 3 pricing strategies is number 1 is what's this? Historical data, historical pricing. Okay. Have you done your research? A great place to do research is FPDS, which stands for Federal Procurement Database System, fpds.gov. Have you done your research on, and have you asked, if there was an incumbent, and if so, what was the last contract awarded to this incumbent? What was the value of the contract? Then you're reverse engineering the value of the contract based on the scope. Is it a similar scope to mine? And if so, how did they price it? Was it over a 5-year period? Did they gradually increase, by 3%, over a 5-year period or whatever? And then you kind of want to be in the ballpark of what they're doing. Kind of leave off where they, start where they left off, and then do also like what is this? A graduating scale of increase over a 5-year period, if that is a 5-year contracting opportunity. So you want to stay similar. That helps you to be, just in the money. This is what they historically have paid out. But of course, I'm not going to go with where they started because they ended up somewhere else, which means that if I go back to where they started, then maybe I'm already underbidding myself, and maybe inflation is going to make me non-profitable for my particular cost, right? They will issue you and award you a bid based on what you quoted. So you have to be the one to know if it's going to be profitable. Is it outpacing inflation? Have I considered both indirect and direct costs? Is it historically, what have they done? Okay, so the historical pricing, and just stay in the money. Okay. Secondly, is you can call and contact like 10 businesses, right? So 10 is a good number. I just start with 10 because 10 is a good number. There's a 10% rule of winning. You want to win 1, of course, you got to bid 10. You want to win 5, you got to win, bid 50 or whatever. So 10% rule getting started on the bidding process. And of course, as you go and grow and learn more, that those odds would increase from 10% to 20% to 40% or whatever, right? So you'll just get better at winning, okay? But ideally, you want to contact 10 businesses who does this scope of work regionally in the area where the work is to be performed. So you can get quotes. And the idea is to at least get 3 quotes, right? Out of the 10, of course, not all 10 people are going to respond. Not all are going to respond in a timely manner. So, but you definitely want to reach out to at least 10 to get 3. Okay. So this, like every aspect of contracting with the government is a numbers game. So you want to reach out to at least 10 to get 3. So 3 quotes, of course, in the quote, when you get them back, of course, there's going to be a low, a mid, and a high. number. Okay. You want to go with the lowest number. Most government agencies, sometimes on the projects that, bidding projects, they go with the lowest bidder. Sometimes prime contractors go with the lowest bidder because they can do their markup and be more profitable. Plus, it'll keep their costs more competitive when they submit their overall bidding number. So we want to use the same strategy. We want to go with the lowest bidder. And of course, you want to mark it up. Do your markup in between these places right here. So you don't necessarily want to be, say the same thing as the mid, but you also don't want to kind of be the highest bidder. So you want to play between the lines of right beneath the mid number or just oddly above the mid number, right? This is the place of compatibility or competitiveness, right? Competitive pricing strategy. So you kind of want to play in between these particular lines. So go with the lowest number, mark it up, and then your markup could be also 20, 30, 40% markup or whatever. So your markup could be 20, 30, 40%. You can go with the lowest number. You can do historical pricing data and just kind of stay in the money. But number 3 is best guess. Take your best guess. Best guess. Based on the scope of work, what would you feel comfortable with if you were awarded the contract? Would you be okay with the number that you're bidding? Okay. And if not, bid another, do a different number, right? So you want to be comfortable with the number that you're bidding. And sometimes people bid and they low bid themselves or low ball themselves, and they actually find out that the bid is not going to be profitable while they're working it, which is, that could be a problem. However, it's also a great learning experience. You won the contract. Now you know that you underbid it. Now you know you can either, multiply that by 2 or 3 or half, 50% increase in your pricing on the next time. And so everything is going to be an opportunity to learn. So go with your best guess. So for me, when I first landed my $70,000 contract for 28 days of work, this is actually what it looked like before I get into the next one. It was a $70,000 contract for 28 days of work. Now, this was my best guess. I knew nothing about pricing, nothing about value. I didn't even know if they would give it to me or not. I just knew that back then I was only making $30,000 a year, but I was working 50 hours, 60 hours a week, chasing customers, trying to convince them to buy my stuff, right? Showing up at networking events and every single business expo possible to meet people that's going to give me some work, right? And so, I was actually overworked, very underpaid, $30,000 a year, barely making money, right? To make ends meet. And so for me, I took my best guess. What would I be happy with? Well, when this opportunity came, they're like, it's 28 days of work. What would you like to get paid? I'm like, double what I'm getting paid now. Double what I would, at least double or more what I'm getting paid now. So that's where I just kind of best guess came up with 70,000. They awarded me that contract, and it awarded it so easy. It let me know that there was more on the table that I could have asked for, but I didn't know any better. But I was okay. Would you be okay with $70,000 in less than 30 days? Absolutely. I'm okay with that. Hey, I'm doing double of what I was doing, working less. Because guess what? In those 28 days of work, it was only 2 hours a day. It was technically only 2 hours a day, which totals 56 hours. So one work week, what I was already working, per week for 52 weeks over 365 days, making $30,000, I was able to take that 1 week and turn it into double the annual of what I was making and more. Okay. So 56 hours. So when you divide 56 into $70,000, that's basically about $2,400 to $2,500 an hour. Now, this is where I learned the technique, the strategy, and, the whole concept that I'm no longer selling time for money. I am actually selling value. So now I'm offering a value, something of value. Now, if you were to go and tell someone, well, it's $2,400 an hour, for photography services, they were like, this person is crazy. But value, you can package that value into a $70,000 contract. And the numbers just happen to work out to be $2,400, $25 an hour, because I'm only working 2 hours a day for 28 28 hours, right? So 28 days. And so anyway, we're exchanging our time, and instead of selling our time, now we're selling the value of getting a great job done, right? And so anyway, these contracts increased to like six figures, multiple six figures for a single day, but I understood how to up level my value. And there's a strategy behind that too. I'm not going to get into that in this particular video, but now we have identify opportunities, decide, partner, price. And then next we're going to have partner, price. And then there was 5, 6, 7. And then we have propose. Okay. So of course, propose. Okay. So now that you've already identified opportunities, you bid, no bid through the process, you have some things coming through your pipeline, you figured out whether or not you're going to need to partner, who those partners are going to be, you've got your quotes, now you have your pricing in place, and you understand that you need to put a profit, right? You need to mark it up, right? And include your fee as well so that you're profitable. But the next thing is like, to bid. You have all the missing pieces. Now you got to bid. Now you got to submit the proposal. This is where people fail the most, right? So there's a lot of people out there that's like, hey, I got my cage code, I got this, and I have my UEI, and I'm registered in SAM, and I'm woman-owned certified, and I have all these things, and I'm this and this and I'm that, and I'm going to PTAC and Apex, and I'm going to all these things. And then when I ask you, okay, well, how many bids have you won? They're like, none. And I'm like, okay, well, how many have you submitted? And they're like, one or none, right? You cannot win a contract if you are not bidding on government contracts, period, point blank. You got to bid. You got to do the work. This is where people just kind of miss. They see all this money, trillions of dollars in government contracts, billions of dollars set aside for small businesses, and they're giving these things away, local, state, federal levels, all these opportunities, multiple hundreds of thousands of opportunities, on the federal level posted daily, and not to even include what's on the state website, what's on the Department of Transportation, and what's on the, the city, local, county levels, and all these subcontract opportunities, opportunity. How many bids have you submitted? None. Okay. Well, that means that's the reason why you're not winning anything, because when you go back to the 1 in 10% rule, okay, the 10% rule says if you want to win one, then you got to submit at least 10. If you submitted 0, then that is where the result comes from. It's not because APEC was wrong, or PTAC was wrong, or a class you took was wrong, or the person didn't teach you right, or whatever. It's nobody else's fault except yours, because you are not doing the work. It takes work. Do you think that it's going to be easy to make multiple 6, multiple 7, and even 8 figures in a business? No, it's the hard work. So if you are not uncomfortable, you are not doing it right. You have to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to put in the hard work, because it's going to take some extra work. You got to be willing to become that person that's going to do that extra work, to get up extra early, in the morning, stay up extra late in the evening, an extra hour, to learn how to dial in on a system that's going to make you more money. If your goal is to win 12 contracts per year, and this could be 12 contracts that are $150,000 each, right? That's a multiple 7. We're already in 7 figures with that, right? We're already beyond, $1 million. We're in the 7-figure mark, all right, with that particular number. But if this is your goal to do this in a year, now we got to reverse engineer the workload, right? Well, when you multiply that by 10 based on the 10% rule, then that's 120 bids that you have to submit within that year. You multiply that, that's like one bid. You got to win one bid a month. If you're going to win one bid a month, you got to submit 10 bids a month, right? To win one bid a month, in order for you to get 100, to submit 120 for the year, to win 12 for the year. So as you can see, it's the workload. Everything is math when it comes to government contracting and winning and bidding and all this other stuff and profitability. Everything boils down to basic math. Okay. So let's go back to school and do this basic math. This is a workload. This is what you're going to be required to do. So when you're ready, aim and fire, when you're ready to aim and fire, you have to ready to aim to fire on purpose and understand what comes with that ready, aim, fire, right? So there's a lot of misshoots, right? There's a lot of like misfires because people are like, oh, I signed up for, a class and I'm not winning anything, or I'm working with this person and I'm not winning anything, or I'm not getting any results and this person has showed me, or I downloaded a book and I didn't win anything. Well, are you bidding on anything, right? You're going to get more no's than yeses. Are you getting enough no's to get that yes, right? So are you getting enough no's to get that yes, right? Yes, you may luck up and win your first contract, but that is not the norm, right? So that's not going to happen every single time. So you have to be playing the odds. Are you getting enough no's to get the yes, right? So anyway, so we have pricing, then we have proposal. And then from there, of course, it's going to be debrief. And what I mean by that is when you submit your proposal, you will not win 100% of the proposals that you submit. It's work, okay? You're either going to get a yes or you're going to get a no. That's a 50% chance, yes and no. 50% chance of getting a yes or no, and 1 in 10 bids win. The 10% rule. This is the 10% rule of bidding successfully, and this is the 50% rule to yes or no. Okay, 50%. The odds. What are the odds you're going to win? 50%. What are the chances of you winning? 1 in 10. Okay, you get that? All right. So debrief, asking, no, why did I not get the contract? Yes and no are both times for celebratory, right? So if you get a yes, you want to celebrate that, right? So this is like the little horn where you get to blow the horn and make an announcement. I won the contract. Yes, this is exciting, right? It's reasons for celebratory. When you win a contract, 6 figures, 7 figures, money that you've never seen before, make that number, make that quote something that you've never seen before. Because if you win it, then you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so real, right? It is real, became a reality for me. So it's reason for celebratory. But when you get to know, most people get down when it comes to the no. But it's reason for even more to celebrate, right? It's even more of a reason to celebrate. Why? Is because when you do this part, number 6, debrief, when you ask, why did you select the other company over mine? They give you an answer. Why did you not select my firm? They were going to give you an answer. What was the reason why you selected another company over mine? They're going to give you an answer. So when you get no's, you actually get constructive criticism. They're going to say, well, maybe because your pricing was too low and we figured you didn't know what you were doing. You were going to be underpriced and not profitable. So now you got to work on your pricing, right? Now you got to go come back up here and work more on pricing strategies. You can identify the areas of growth for yourself and know exactly what type of training you need to plug into. What do you need to do when you hop on a phone with a consultant or a coach like myself? You know your areas of need. I need to work on pricing because they're telling me my feedback is consistent, like I'm lowballing or maybe I'm overbidding. Maybe they're going to say you're overbidding. So low bid, overbid. Right? Maybe my pricing is too high. So I identify, well, I'm pricing it too high. What do I need to work on? I need to work on pricing and be more competitive. I need to do more research or whatever. Maybe they're like, you forgot to sign. You forget to sign. I was actually, crazy part about it is I actually was not awarded a contract because I forgot to sign one page. So 5 years later, when that opportunity came back, I made sure I signed that one page. And everything else, right? And I was awarded a contract 5 years later when they put it back out. So yeah, something as simple as a missed signature could make you non-responsive. So do you need to work on compliance and proofreading? Maybe that's just a small, minute thing that I need to look out for in the future. So the next time I want to make sure I, dotted all my I's and crossed all my T's. So you forgot to sign. Or maybe they're like, oh, your capacity. We don't believe you have enough team members to be able to pull this off on budget and on time, with the level of quality that we're looking for. Maybe because your capacity. Well, maybe because of that, if they're that feedback, I know, let me see, where is it? I can come back up here and I can work on strategic partnerships so I can build and expand my team strategically, have, collaborations, be a part of a chamber of commerce, be a part of a GovCon group, join the networking event, see what subs are in the room, what primes are in the room, who do I need to connect with, what are the comments, who are these people that have won contracts in my particular space in the past that I can partner with and connect with on winning contracts together in the future, right? And so getting those no's and debriefing is going to be, that's the best evaluative, feedback that you can get so that you can get better at pitching and winning government contracts, which these are all the things that I talk about in my book, Don't Duck the Government, They've Got Your Money. It's really all about how you can make money pitching and winning government contracts. And here, this is where we're just kind of breaking it down in bite-sized pieces so you can really understand there's more to it than just getting on SAM.gov, getting your UEI, cage code, and certification. It takes work. There's a pool of knowledge. There's a wealth of knowledge. And this is not something that you're going to learn in a year, in 30 days, in 6 weeks. You may get results, within these timeframes, but this is lifelong education. Things are constantly changing. You got to be constantly under someone or some training or something where you're learning what's new. What do I need to do? What areas of work? We're talking about a business, right? So if you're an entrepreneur, you understand that you need to have constant trainings. When you worked, or if you ever worked for corporate America, there were always constant trainings, right? On tools and systems and teams and cultural things, right? Constant training is no different now that you are the executive CEO of your business. You also have to put yourself through constant trainings of, tools and resources and learning and systems and things and compliance that changes and all the rules and laws and stuff like that. So it's the same thing. So number 7 is going to be the best part. When you get here, all we're doing is rinse and repeat. This is it. This gives you a dialed in system, simplified system of what you can do to pitch and win on purpose lucrative government contracts. So if you're ready to take your business from 6 figures to 7 figures, this is for those who are already stuck at 6 figures. Maybe it's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. You're ready to multiply that by 10 so that you can get to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million and beyond. You're ready to grow and scale. This is not for those who are like trying to figure out, what SAM.gov is, or trying to figure out how to form an LLC and where you get, the documents for it, trying to figure out how to get a free EIN. This is not for beginners. This is like some real grow and scale. You've already tried. You're tired of boiling spaghetti and traditional grandmama used to say, throw the spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks. And if it sticks, it's done. No, we're not going to be throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if we can win a bid. We're going to do it strategically with knowledge and do this by a repeatable system where when you win 1, you can win 2, you can win 3, you can win multiples. You can go from 1 to 5, right? Within a very short period of time when you have a system that's rinse and repeatable, that's dialed in, and you understand the different phases and levels. And even within this, now, identifying opportunities, I can talk 10 hours or beyond just on that alone. I could decide that making a decision, what are all the things that go into deciding, right? We could talk about deciding sources sought versus, solicitations and why that matters and what's in your pipeline. We could talk about that for several hours. All of these different levels and steps in pitching and winning government contracts is a whole training within themselves that I can talk about for decades, right? Partnerships and pricing and, submitting proposals. There's so many different ways to submit a proposal, put together a proposal, fast tracking a proposal, understanding, outlining a proposal. These are all technology and AI tools with proposals, So, and by the way, I highly recommend that you never hire someone to do a proposal for you. You could do this thing yourself when you understand how it works. Get educated so you can take control of your money, your finances, your wealth, and do it on purpose, right? And so, and then debrief. Don't forget to debrief. Always ask why. Why did I lose? If you want it, that's great. Even ask, is there a particular reason why you chose my firm over the others, just so I can know what I'm doing great already, right? And can continue to do that. And they're going to say, hey, you just put together a really nice proposal. Sounds like you have the capacity. You met the minimum qualifications. Now, hey, I'm the boss in these areas. This is what I'm doing great. Continue to do that, right? And so, and then rinse and repeat. So that is my 7-step bidding process and framework that I use to not only, grow my business beyond multiple 7 figures, but to actually help other people dial in and land multiple 6 and multiple 7-figure contracts and beyond. So, so for those of you who are just like, this is just the beginning, right? Of course, it's a lot to take in. I love going behind the scenes. Like, this is a whole new year. Are you ready? By the way, if you are not making 7 figures and you're an entrepreneur, then you are so far behind, because the money is out there. You just have to strategically get yourself in place. You cannot be afraid to invest in yourself, to make commitments, to learn something new. You cannot be afraid to do hard work. You're working hard anyway. You're just working hard. Maybe if you're not a 7-figure earner or 8-figure earner, you're just working hard in the wrong areas, right? If you're not making multiple 6 figures already, you are really working hard at the wrong thing. If you're a business owner, look, government contracting can help you not only make more money in your business, but working less hard, working more strategically, so you can position yourself to sell value and be a solutionary for the opportunities that are out there that the government is willing to write big checks for, right? And so you can learn this and more. I'm excited to announce that people have been asking me, Dr. K, can we meet you in person? Are you going to have a live event in person? I know that I have these 5-day challenges virtually where I'm able to help people get in position. This is more for like beginners, but this right here is going to be for those who are beyond the beginning stage, for those who have already, of course, achieved capability statements, UEI codes, and your SAM registration. You have all your certifications. You're ready to do business with local, state, federal, or even just on one level, but you have not landed your first contract, or maybe you landed one accidentally and it was a subcontract, but you don't know how to do that on purpose, right? This is for those who are ready to, prosper on purpose and to create wealth for yourself and your family. And so I'm happy to share, my 7-point bidding framework and, cheat sheet basically for you. Go through this, like, see if this is something that can work for you, that you can implement. And of course, every business owner is going to be different. Of course, there's going to be, different things that you can add to that's going to help you understand the process even more in a more simplified manner. But these things and more, we're going to be showing you exactly how to win big contracts this year. Y'all, stop playing. Look, a whole year has gone by and people are still on the fence, deciding if they're going to start, deciding if they're going to do it, deciding if they're going to pay for a class. Like, quit playing with yourself, because the cost of the class has nothing on the outcome that you can get when you dial in this system. When you understand the vision for yourself and you understand the outcome of learning, there is no price that can keep you from learning how to make multiple 7, multiple 8 figures, because I'm pretty sure the class is not going to be 7 figures. That's the value of learning government contracts. The class is not going to be 8 figures. That's the value of learning how to bid and win multiple 7 and 8 figures. If the class is like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever, under 100,000 or whatever, it is so worth it. Even if it's something that you've never done before. Les Brown, one of my favorite thought leaders, he talks about how if you want to have something that you've never had before, you got to be willing to do something that you've never done before. And there are so many small business owners that fall under the category of small business with the government, where they have multiple billions of dollars set aside, but they allow a small fee to learn how to do it, to learn how to make millions for your particular business and your family. That is going to go into your pocket, but you allow a small price to stop you. We have to really think about what is going on between, these 2 ears that we have called a mind, because the mindset is a terrible thing to waste. You have to understand how to put on a mindset of a millionaire so that you can prosper and really grow. And there are some people out here who's willing to show you, but they can't do it for free, because guess what? You have to be willing to invest in yourself, right? Because you're not going to learn how to do business for free. You're going to learn how to do business with money. Money plus money equals more money, right? It takes money to make money. And so stop being afraid of money. It's just a tool, right? When you understand that money is just only a tool, then you can actually create more wealth for yourself using that tool. And that is just basically how it works. So we're going to be showing you not only this, but showing you exactly how to build strategic partnerships, where to find the partnerships, like we're gonna like how to contact government agencies, who these contacting people are. Like you get access to our database of tens of thousands of contracting officers, email, phone number, all this stuff when you attend our Winning Government Contracts live event. So make sure you tap in for a live event. We'll have our first ever. People have been asking, can you show us these things live? Yes, we're doing it, y'all. February 14th through the 16th in Dallas, Texas. Winning Government Contracts Live is where you go. I'm going to bring up the banner here. Winning Government Contracts Live.com is where you go to get yourself registered to join us, of course. There, be in the room, because we're going to be rolling up our sleeves and helping you get unstuck in your journey. Again, this is not for people who are just beginning. This is for people who have been stuck and you're tired of being stuck and you're ready to land your first contract. We're going to dial in pricing, how to price your services for your particular industry, specifically where to go to find, pricing strategies, where to go to find opportunities, how to dive into, look through the opportunities, what are the different type of opportunities, everything that you need. This is the first time we're giving it all away. All right, people have paid tens of thousands of dollars to learn what you can learn for just $397 or $497 if you want to come as a platinum member. When you come as a platinum member, you get a signed autograph of my book. You get to have lunch with me where I get to answer any questions specifically for you. We do photo ops, you get goodie bags, all those great things. So of course you're going to get the VIP treatment, first class seating, and all that stuff. But look, for a very, very, very low, almost free ticket price, you can join us in live in Dallas live for the Winning Government Contracts live event, so that you can dial in and finally start creating the prosperous business model that you deserve to have. So let's get us stuck in 2025, y'all. We can do this together. Looking forward to seeing you there. Until next time, of course, go be fruitful, multiply, but don't forget about those government contracts so you can create wealth on purpose. So we'll see you next time. All right, y'all have a good one.